Papa, like that one it falls under Jainism, Buddhism, Hinduism. No, we didn't look at Jainism. You said we will look at that one today. And as for religion from the the Near East, that one, Christianity, we are not talking about it. Islam, we are not talking about it. But we look at Zoroastrianism and probably Judaism. So we look at Hinduism, Buddhism from the Indian side. That is the Far East.
So we looked at the group I was dealing with was religion of India.
Yeah.
So I mentioned that we have 4 religions there. We have Sikhism, Buddhism, Jainism, and then Hinduism. And then I remember we discussed Hinduism, the 3 periods. We did that. We finished with that.
Yep.
But did we discuss Jainism?
No, please, Papa. Because I don't have it here. I didn't write anything on it, so I'm tempted to believe it.
What about the rest? Did we discuss that? Okay. So as I said that these are 4 religions from India, and then we have to go through. So the next religion I want us to look at is Buddhism. That is more popular than Jainism. So let's look at Buddhism today. Let's look at Buddhism. What have you heard about Buddhism? What have you heard about it? What have you heard about Buddhism?
It's Buddha.
Yes, what have you heard about the religion Buddhism? You haven't heard anything about it?
I think we don't have much knowledge about we just know the Godfather being Buddha or something, like a man who he claims to he devoted some time to enter into serious, whether it is prayer or something, but at the end of it he came out being filled with some kind of power, and he started the movement, who is the Buddha, and
so
just simple.
Okay, thank you very much. I hope everyone is around today. So we want to look at Buddhism today. If there is time, we can add one more religion to it. As I said, because our period will not allow us to be able to tackle all, but then I will make sure that we'll tackle the major ones so that we'll see. So today we are looking at Buddhism. Last week I mentioned to you that I intimated that the largest religion that the religion most people in India follow is Hinduism. Hinduism is the religion that most people adhere in India. So the majority of Indian people are what? Hindus. They follow that religion. And I also mentioned that out of that religion, 3 religions also came out of that. The religion gave birth to other religions, right? And out of that, we had Buddhism, or I called it the offshoots. So the offshoot of we had the offshoots are Hinduism, Buddhism, Jainism, and then Sikhism. Okay, so today we want to look at the religion called Buddhism. Now, the religion, as your brother mentioned, Berima mentioned, the man called Gautama Buddha founded the religion called Buddhism. And actually, this man, scholars have not been able to settle with the day that he was born. The Western scholars believe that he was born between 563 to 483 BCE. And I remember when we say BCE, You all know what BCE? Please, do you all know what BCE is? Can someone tell me the meaning of BCE?
Before the common era.
Before the common era. Good. So that is how other scholars believe. And then there's another group of scholars that we call it the Southern Buddhists. They believe that the man was born between 624 to 544 before the common era. But the Chinese Buddhists, we have Buddhists in China. They also put the date back to the 1000 BCE. So you see, there have not been a correct dates. People have not been able to come to terms to the right time he was born. But then, as the place he was born was certain. He was born in northern India. He was born in the northern India, and in a place near Nepal. In a place near Nepal, and it's from a clan called Sachia clan. So he was, therefore, people called him Sachia Muni, especially those in China, they call him Sachia Muni. According to the Buddhist tradition, or the Buddhist tradition, Gautama was conceived miraculously. He was the mother was in the place of heaven. Gautama, that is before the mother gave birth to him. It is believed that Gautama was in heaven, and he saw that the time has come for him to descend into this world to proclaim the good news or his teachings to his people, or his teachings about salvation to people. So he entered the womb of a queen called Queen Maya. Queen Maya, that is his mother. And he was born into a human being. Good. Then his mother was, now this is how the birth happened. They said that his mother was in a park called Lumbini Park. And then the time, that was where her mother was, when the time came for her to give birth. She was holding a tree branch, and her son, her baby, was received into a golden net by gods who assembled around her for that purpose, and then they worship him. So when he was about to give birth on the park, the mother was there, and then angels came, surrounded him, and then the mother gave birth, and then they received him in a golden net. Good. And I know the father was a king. So because the father was a king, he became a priest. So he was called Prince Gautama. And he was brought up in luxury and pleasure. There were a lot of things. There were money. So he was brought up in luxury. And at age 19, he got married to a princess, a very beautiful princess. That princess was called Yasuhara. And after 10 years, they had a son. Rahula. They had a son called Rahula. But this man, Gautama, had a lot of wisdom. He had a great wisdom. He had a lot of wisdom. And then one time he has been, the father, how do you call it? The king was told by a seer, or when we say a seer, you all know who a seer is. So let's say a prophet or a soothsayer, someone who sees that, look, this child will become what? A great person. And that when this child would what? Renounce the world, He will renounce the world and become a hermit or ascetic, or a word like a recluse. A person, when you say that, someone like us very much try to explain, an ascetic person, someone who lives lowly, who lives in seclusion, who lives in isolation, in a solitude life. You become that person. And this will happen when this child sees 4 things in this life. When he sees 4 things in life, he would become this kind of thing that the prophet told the dad. And what are these 4 things? 1, a discreet old man, which means an old and feeble man. Old and feeble man. That is 1. 2, a miserable sick man. 3, a dead person. And then lastly, a calm, religious, ascetic person. So it means that when he sees these things, he will renounce the world. He will give up. Now, so when the dad hears this, you know very well that in this world, every king would want the child or the son to inherit from him or her. So the dad was not happy about what the prophet told him. So he decided to prevent the child from seeing these 4 things. He decided to prevent the child from seeing these 4 things. So what did the father do? The father made sure that he confined the son in the palace and made sure that there was a very beautiful garden for him. And they kept him very happy, made everything possible for him, and made everything available for him, so that he would not come into contact with these 4 things that has been said. So whenever it is necessary for him to go out of the palace, what they do is that they will clear the streets of everything which will show a sign of an aged person, a ill health person, a sick person, an ugly person, death, poverty, or any other thing. They'll make sure that they'll clear the road. Everything, before these guys go out. Now, despite these precautions or measures that were taken by the dad to ensure that the child continued to remain a prince and then later become the king, the child finally saw all these 4 signs. All the signs that the father was preventing him from seeing, all the things that he was being guarded from seeing, he finally saw them all. According to the Buddhist tradition, gods from heaven were aware of what was happening, how the dad was trying to prevent what they wanted to happen. So they sent number of gods to come down and bring those 4 things. Bring those 4 things. And these 4 things that they are talking about, it is something that will happen to everybody. That thing is that 4 things represents the fate that awaits all human beings. All human beings. So that thing that they are trying to prevent the child from getting is something that awaits everybody. Everyone will grow old. Everyone can become sick and feeble. Do you understand? We will die. So all these things, they are things that await human beings, right? And there are times too you become lowly. You go into seclusion, those kind of things. So these things that they are preventing, but the gods made it what? Happen. One day, as the prince was riding, they say one day the prince was riding on the streets. And then God, one of the god, appeared suddenly in the form of a very old man. The god appeared to him in a very old man, extremely weak, a very old man who was extremely weak and miserably worn out with age. So he saw it. That's the first sign. So when the prince Gautama saw it, he was shocked. He was shocked. And how pathetic the sight was. So he ordered the one that he was riding with in the chariot to stop and ask what he was there to see. And then it was explained to him that was an old man whose strength was failing, and that all human beings grow old, and that he himself will grow old one day. So that is the first thing he saw. He saw an old man, but it was the God. Please, the emphasis is that it was the God. It is believed that a God from heaven descended, and yet the capital God, the small one. So he saw it. Very old. So when they explained it to him, he understood that is how we all be. We will all grow old, and our health will fail us, and then he himself one day will be that. Then Gautama became lost in deep thoughts. So he began to think deeply with sadness and a form of depression creeping over him. The second day, the second sight, he saw a miserable sick person appeared in a similar manner on another day. Then that's the third one. The third sight, he saw a dead man being carried through the streets for burial. As a result of these three signs, the prince became increasingly troubled, and he had no peace of mind. And all his father's efforts to cheer him up with the most expensive, attractive entertainment were all in vain. All that the dad did was all in vain. He could not get it. Finally, the fourth sign appeared. That of a calm ascetic in a yellow monk's robe. Gautama came to where he sat under a tree. And from there, the ascetic, he learned how one can gain liberation from miseries and pain of life, represented in the three earlier signs he has seen. So that is it. So now the boy have seen all the signs that earlier a prophet had told him when he sees, he will become He will denounce the world. So he saw the dead, he saw the very old man, he saw a sick person, and he saw a dead person. And the last one, he saw, an ascetic person. An ascetic person, we call it an hermit. He saw that. And then he said that from there he learned that now the only way for you to escape those things, the first three things, is that you need to gain liberation. You gain liberation from miseries and pain. You need to gain liberation. Good. Now, the next thing is how Gautama then renounced all these things. Now, according to a Buddhist tradition, after he has seen all these signs, he made a great decision to renounce home and his priestly life and become a homeless ascetic. And this will not be very easy decision that he want to take. But there an evil spirit called Mara, brought great temptation to hinder him from putting his effort into great decision. So an evil spirit tried to prevent him. Now his father was also very troubled about his son's decision. So he arranged beautiful girls to dance for him, beautiful girls to dance and entertain him. But all these things did not work. Gautama overcame all the temptation. So one night, he got up, went into the wife's apartment where the wife and the child was sleeping. And he said goodbye to them. And then he took off on a hot horse, accompanied by one of his faithful charioteers. And they were also accompanied by the gods unknowingly. The gods were also following him. So he went away. It is said that he rode to a place far away from home. When he got there, he cut his head and beard, took off his rich princely clothes, put on an inside a monk simple yellow robe. He then said goodbye to his charioteers and horse. He said goodbye to them and he asked them to come home. Then he entered into the forest and began to live a new life of what? Seclusion, or recluse life, or an ermit life. Some will also say a ascetic life. He lived alone, a solitude life. Now, in trying to get salvation, your hand is up. Is your hand up? Yes, please talk. I saw a hand up.
No, I don't think
No, sir, Papa.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he went out there for what? Salvation and enlightenment. That is why he went out there, because he has been told by an angel. The father has been told. They tried to prevent him. He has seen all these four things, so he's trying to what? Escape the first three. So he went out for salvation. It is said that for 6 good years, he went through an intensive search for enlightenment and liberation. He tried various ways available, but some did not work. He tried the way taught by the Brahmanian. We mentioned the Brahmanians, that's the Brahma, from the word Brahma, when we're doing Hinduism. So he combined, in Brahma, they do philosophy and those kind of things. So he combined the speculative philosophy of oneness with the Brahma, and with yoga and discipline and asceticism. That did not work. He became a disciple and successfully of 2 ascetic Brahmins, philosophy, living in cave. So he was living in cave and doing all these things did not work. The highest goal, their method was to lead to what? Nothingness, and did not work. It did not work. He did not get to what? He did not get that enlightenment that he was seeking. So next he tried a way of extreme physical asceticism. After trying the first philosophical thinking and speculation, that one did not work. So as I said, so what he did was he tried another one, but this one was a very serious one. he tried asceticism, physical asceticism. And that one is very dangerous. It's like my professor at Timu, who taught me this subject back in Legon, said that he was living on he will go for days without food, and he will take 1 grain. You see, 1 grain of rice. 1 grain of rice. That's what he will take. So he practiced self-mortification and fasting, and he became extremely emaciated of 4 years from his knowledge and out of admiration. But you know what? According to Professor at Bamford Timo, he said when he was torturing the body that way, he even collapsed, and at the point of what? Death. And then he met these people, these 5 ascetics. They probably gave him food, and then he regained his strength, right? So Gautama felt that the way of extreme asceticism was not leading to what? Enlightenment and liberation, and there must be another path. So you see, trying to torture himself, that one did not work, right? So he woke up, he gave up, took food, and resumed life, right? As I said, he resumed life. He started eating. You understand? But the 5 ascetics greatly annoyed at his backsliding and abandoned him, but he continued struggling and searching. So these 5 people later gave up upon him, and then they left him, and he continued search for what is enlightenment. Now he got Buddha and his enlightenment. Now one day in the 6th year of his wandering and search, Guma went into a grove near Hindu sanctuary at Gaya, not far away from a town. He sat down under a sacred tree, which came to be given the name as what? Bone tree or Bohim tree, the tree of enlightenment and knowledge. So the tree that he sat under is called the Bohim tree or the Bo tree, and the meaning is that it's a tree of what? Knowledge and enlightenment. The Hindu tradition says that Gautama resolved to sit there in meditation and until he received enlightenment. So he sat there and said that he will not go anywhere until he gets what? The liberation or the enlightenment that he wants. He sat there in deep meditation. While he was in the highest stage of ecstatic trance, a great light came on him. He saw in a vivid reconciliation all his past successful reincarnation. He saw all the past successful reincarnation. Next, he was endowed with the perfect heavenly eye, with which he was able to scrutinize the whole world clearly, as if he is in a wonderful mirror. Here, what it means is that in the trance, when he was in the trance, through the meditation, his eyes opened. So when the eyes opened, he began to see things that ordinarily man could not see. He was able to see the nature and the goal of all existence, the past, present, and the future. So when the eyes opened, he was able to see. He saw the cause of all suffering and pain, and how it can be done away with. So he saw the cause of suffering and pain in the world, and how one can deal with it. How one can deal with suffering and pain. How one can deal with suffering and pain. He saw that. So while he's still in this present life, so then that's it. At that moment, he attained a perfection, an enlightenment, and perfect peace. So when he was able to, the eyes were open, he saw all these things, then he was able to what? Gain what? Gain what we call what? The enlightenment, and then what? Perfect peace, and then, perfect peace. Good. So whilst in this present life, he attained nirvana, a state where all desires have been what? Rooted out, and rebirth have what? Ceased, and he became a Buddha, the enlightened one. So that at this stage, he became what? Buddha. And the meaning of Buddha is what? The enlightened one. Now listen. You see, when he was able to attain perfection, enlightenment, and peace, do you understand? That makes him, that's what we call, the person has attained what? Rebirth. And rebirth is what we call this thing, nirvana. In the Christianity, we can say nirvana is what? Salvation. So he has what? He has escaped the desires of this world. All desires of this world has left his life, and that he has now attained what? Nirvana. So in Buddhism, the goal for every Buddhist is to what? Attain nirvana. If you get to that point of nirvana, that is when we said you have attained what? Perfection, right? You have attained perfection. You have escaped, how do you call it? The desires of the world. In our previous lesson, they will try to escape karma, cause and actions. But here, you escape everything, and then you attain what? Nirvana. So he has now attained nirvana. He has been what? Enlightened. So let me talk briefly about one sermon he preached. In a sermon, he explained the right way of salvation, or the right way to attain enlightenment. He showed two extremes to be avoided in his sermon. One, a life given to pursuit of, give away. The first thing you have to avoid in this life, in his sermon, is that a life given to pursuit of pleasure and lust. And then the second one, a life of what? Extreme asceticism and mortification. Now, yes, so you see, the two things you have to what? Avoid two extremes in this life, pleasure and lust. You have to avoid it. And also, you have to also avoid extreme what? Asceticism and mortification. What it means that it's not saying don't do them, don't enjoy life, but extreme enjoyment, like what he used to have in his father's house, entertainment. No, you have to avoid it. Secondly, too, you shouldn't say that you should pain, asceticism, like the way he went into it, that he was torturing the body. That one is too much, right? You shouldn't torture yourself too much in life. What he was saying is that one must follow the middle path. So in his teaching, he emphasized on the middle path. So the middle path is what he took to attain what? How do you call it? To attain perfection or nirvana. So he teaches his disciples to follow the path which he himself had what? Follow. He teaches himself which he himself had what? Follow. And that path is what? The middle path. And the middle path leads to what? Perfect peace. The middle path leads to enlightenment, nirvana, the sermon. So that is the sermon he preached. I don't want to give you an assignment that you would come to. I want to give an assignment, but don't come and report to me. So what he did in the sermon is that he came out with something we call, everybody knows, you can just type it and get it. If you go to Google Scholar, you just type Buddha's 4 Noble Truths. 4 Noble Truths. Buddha's 4 Noble Truths. in life. And then the eightfold path. So 4 noble truths and 8-fold paths in life. So that is on Buddha. Please kindly do that. And then maybe I may ask something next week, but just so that you know, at least have that kind of thing. So you see, he emphasized on the middle path. We should follow the middle, not extreme pain, not extreme what? Enjoyment. That is what he emphasized. Now, something we should, this is very important, something we should know about Buddhism.
You said 8 what?
Eightfold path, 8-fold path, and 4 noble truths. If you just type this thing, Buddha, it will just come, and then you just know them for yourself. Now, and it is very good for life. It's very good for life. Me, I kind of associate a lot of things. I like what he says. Life, you have to avoid extreme enjoyment. And you know, it has put a lot of people into trouble. And you have to try to avoid extreme pain. Try to be in the middle, and it's good. Now, I want something to know about the Buddhists. The first thing is that all Buddhists wore yellow robe. They shave their head. They also carried a bow. They carried a bow. It is said that they carried a bow for begging. They do what we call daily meditation. And they have a short creed. They have a short creed that they have to recite every day. So I'll mention it for you. I'm reading it out for you. I take refuge. This is the short creed, like the way Christians and Muslims have a creed. They also have a creed. I take refuge in Buddha. I take refuge in Dharma. Dharma is the law or the truth taught by Buddha. The Dharma is spelled D-H-A-R-M-A. So Dharma means the law or the truth as taught by Buddha. Then I take refuge in Sangha. I take refuge in Sangha. Then the other one, the 10 precepts which all pledge to observe. So these are the precepts that they pledge to observe, 10 of them. So let's look at the summary of the precepts. Now, 1, not to destroy life. It is their precepts, not to destroy. You can take it like a commandment, like their commandment or something. Not to destroy life, not to take anything not given, but that is don't steal. Not to engage in any form of unchastity, not to lie or deceive, not to take intoxicants, example, any stimulants like AP10 appeal, cocaine, weed, and anything that can intoxicate you, any stimulant, don't take it. To eat moderately, only before noon. Now, not to watch dancing, singing, or dramatic spectacles. Not to make use of ornaments, perfumes. Not to use high or broad beds and patenting men so. Not to accept gold or silver. Good. So that is their precepts. So we have done, I remember that So that is on Buddhism. On Buddhism. So I think there is more to be how do you call it, said here, or to be learned, but because of the scope, we could have looked at the scriptures, their influence, but this is enough for you at this level, so we can explore further. So go and look at the Four Noble Truths and the Eightfold Paths and add it. Okay, so okay, let's go back. I want us to look at we still have about 15 minutes. Let's look at something I think I started last week, but Jainism.
Please, can we bring a question here, sir?
Please, I'm coming. Did we do Jainism, or I should just did we do it last week? Okay. Okay, please, can I have a question so that I can move to Jainism?
All right, thank you, sir. Sir, from the submission, you made mention that Buddha saw himself in heaven. Yeah. And out of whatever conviction, he found out that it is time for him to come to the earth and to come and proclaim his teachings to the world. And therefore, he entered the womb of a woman, a Queen Maya. So I just want to know, is Buddha's birth a similitude of that of Christ? Because if he entered the womb of a woman and then he was born, can we liken it to the birth of Christ? Secondly, which heaven did he find himself? Like, is it the heaven that Christians are looking up to, or which heaven did he see himself before he entered the womb of a woman?
Thank you very much. We of course we can't liken Buddha to Jesus Christ. We can't liken it to Jesus Christ. But then we can also say we can say that yes. But that's why I kept on saying the tradition. The tradition. You see, when in Christianity, when most religions will tell you that Jesus is not the Son of God. But in the Christian tradition, we believe that. So in the Buddhist tradition, it is believed that the child Buddha was in heaven. The birth was miraculous. It was a miracle, right? And then he used to live in heaven. And you realize that they kept saying that he was in heaven with gods. And then, of course, in the heaven that we know, gods don't live in heaven with God. Yeah. What I see. So that is their understanding. And maybe what they are referring to as heaven may also not be the heaven that we are also talking about. Because in our heaven, we don't live with what? Gods. Right. Good. So, yes, that is how it is. They said he was in heaven, and then he descended into his mother's womb, because he saw that the time has come for him to what? Bring salvation. In the fashion of the way it happened with Christianity. Like God sent Jesus Christ to come and what? Save the world. Available to give us what? Salvation. But we cannot put Buddha in the same, how do you call it, category with what? Jesus Christ, right? You can see that what we are doing, you realize that they all have founders, but none of the religion's founder died and is claimed to have resurrected. Buddha died, right? But in these studies, you would not hear that he resurrected, right? So that makes Jesus Christ different from all other religions that we are doing. Jesus is in his own class, right? All the founders of religion, like Confucius, died. Lao Tse died. Buddha died, right?
Yep.
But their graves are still there. They are still in their graves. But Jesus, the grave could not keep Jesus, right? Makes him what? A different thing altogether. We cannot. So you know that all religion claim what? Salvation, right? You saw how to attain salvation in Buddhism. To attain salvation in Buddhism, one must what? Take the middle path. Try to what? Escape all these things and then attain nirvana, right? But that is not how Jesus Christ taught us. Just believe and accept him as the Lord and Savior. But theirs, as they are teaching us that salvation, you needed some effort to attain what? Salvation, right? So from the discussion, you see that salvation is attained from effort. The same thing applies to Hinduism. When we come to Taoism, you realize that all these things, people have what? Go through some kind of torture or something in order to get into that level, right? Good. Thank you.
Thank you,
Another thing.
Papa, I just want to ask this question. What inspired him to come out with their precept? Is there anything that's like Moses to the 10 Commandments from God? Is there anything that maybe inspired him to come out with that thing? Thank you.
Thank you very much. So Moses, as you mentioned, Moses was not inspired, was not, how do you call it, inspired. Nothing that inspired Moses to come out with it. So Moses himself did not come out with the 10 Commandments that Moses gave out. No, the 10 Commandments was given to Moses by God, right? So it's not like, or not like the way he say, as if Moses answered, oh yeah, the 10 Commandments they buy. No, that's not the case. The 10 Commandments was given to Moses. So in this case, in his case too, you know, this is he went through, how do you call it, a procedure, and he learned something from Hinduism, which is the extreme. We have to go to the extreme to attain salvation. And then that did not work. Then he also came to the other side of it. It did not work. Trying to eat, enjoy, and that one too did not work. So he realized that let me take the middle path. So taking the middle path, you realize that he came out with these precepts. For you to be able to be in the middle path, follow these steps, and you can be in the middle path. So it is just trying to how do you call it? Let his people, help people to be in the middle. That is why he came out of this, right? So as a founder of a religion, this could be his own thoughts, that the way from his meditation and his enlightenment. Remember that I told you that it got a point, the tradition said the eyes opened. So when the eyes opened, he saw the present, the past, and then the future. So out of that, he was able, for them to be able to be in the middle path, these are the things that you have to follow, right? Good. Yes. So from the reading I've been reading about them, there's no point like the way in the Hebrew Bible, Moses was called onto the mountain and then he received the 10 Commandments. No, there was no case, but analysis shows that because of what his teaching and his understanding and his enlightenment, he came out with distance by himself for his followers. Like the way people open churches, right? People open churches and they have their own philosophy. That is what happened. So he came out with this. Yeah. Any other question? Any other question? Okay. So
for me, I'm very confused because somebody they don't know the time he was born, they don't know when he was born, and they were able to know when he got married and the place where he was born, and they know the mother and everything. So that is where I'm a little bit confused. I don't know.
Don't be confused. I said that scholars don't agree on the date. They have a misunderstanding on the date he was born. But I'll tell the Americans. So what they did to give a range, not that they don't know when he was born, to give a range, they gave a range that, he might have been born around this period and that period. Do you understand? Right. So they were trying to give a range that, there are some scholars And then depending on where you are writing from, if you are writing from the West, you think that he was born from this 500 to 400 BC, the common era. And then if you are born in the South, you also think about this, and you are a Chinese. So that is how. So people have scholars have this kind of disagreement depending on what the source of materials they are working with. You understand? Good. So, but then they were clear about it's like the same thing when it talks about Jesus Christ, right? We scholars have not been able to conclude where Jesus was born. Like we talk about the 25th December. Scholars have never agreed on the 25th December as what? The birthday of Jesus Christ. Many scholars have already thought that the birthday is even in the month of Nisan. And in the month of Nisan, it should be around April. Do you understand? So but do we deny the virgin birth of Jesus? We don't deny the virgin birth of Jesus. So don't get confused, right?
All right. Second one. So if you are a Buddhist, what at all is your belief? What are the belief of the Buddhists? Is it that they don't believe in God, or they believe in God, or they believe in Nuntama, Buddha? How do we call it? They believe in Buddha, or they believe, I don't know. As Christians, we believe in Christ. And
yes. Thank you. That's a very good question. Buddha is the founder of the religion, right? So they believe in the teachings of what? Buddha, and they believe in the gods. This religion has to do with gods, abosom.
Yeah.
And so they believe in the gods, right? So you realize that starting, and I was telling you that the gods were leading him to everything that the gods were what? Leading him. Yeah, the gods were leading him. So they believe in the gods. But one thing you should also know is that this type of religions are more philosophical. They are more philosophical than theological, right? So they try to use the human mind. Good. You know that thing again. Our time, you are left with 3 minutes. So let's talk about. Let me introduce Jainism. I can't finish, but then I think last time I mentioned it. So I want to talk about Jainism. So the second religion from that is also an offshoot of Hinduism is Jainism, and that religion is rose in the that's religion. Jainism and Buddhism, they all came at the same time. They rose in the 6th century. They all started in the 6th century, almost at the same time, right? And what even caused the coming up of particular Jainism is the disintegration of society, that is the Northern Indian, the problem that the people of Northern Indian were having. That was why that religion also came out. It's like that religion, the rise of Jainism could be compared to the rise of the birth of Islam, because you know that Islam was birthed out of violence. This religion was also birthed out of what? Violence, problems here and there, instability. You understand? That even led this religion to come out. Now, in this religion, one of the things that they try to do, as I said in Buddhism, is that they also want to be liberated from karma. They wanted to be liberated from what? Karma. And karma means deeds and action. So it means that when we are liberated from karma, you can attain what? Salvation, right? You can attain nirvana. They all believe nirvana. God, they are from the same, so you can attain nirvana, which is salvation. Now, as I say, karma means deeds and action. What you are today is the result of what you did yesterday. And what you will be tomorrow is result of what you are doing today. So right now, you are learning. Your learning today will make you become catechist tomorrow. You understand? So whatever we are doing today prepares us for something tomorrow, right? So it's cause and what? Effects, actions and results. That is what so for them, they wanted to run away from karma and from subsequent rounds of what? Rebirth. So life is more like a cycle. So they wanted to run away from what? The karma, action and effect, and then the subsequent effect of what? Rebirth. So Jainism offered a way of extreme asceticism, while Buddha offered a moderate way, which Gautama called the middle way. So you see, what we did today, if you take these two religions, you realize that extreme asceticism, like in the first, we saw when Buddha went, he tried to go to extreme asceticism. He realized it did not work, so he took the middle way. But if you compare the two, you realize that in Jainism, they take the extreme way, the difficult way, pain. You understand? But in Buddhism, they offered a moderate way, which they call the middle way. Good. So that is a comparison between the two. Now, Jainism is a religion which takes its place midway between Hinduism and Buddhism. So, as I said, Jainism could also fall between what? Hinduism, which is the moderate, and then Hinduism, which is the what? The highest of what? Extremism. It shares with Hinduism the belief in rebirth and the desirability of escaping from suffering and privation of all transcendent existence into freedom of what? Nirvana. It rejects the Hindu caste system, especially that of what? The Brahmanian caste, having authority in religious what? Matters. So that is just introduction. God willing, next time when we meet, we're gonna look at into detail. So what I want to end with that, the religion was founded by one person called Mahavari. He's the founder of Jainism. He lived before Buddha, and probably it is believed that he died around 480 BC. 480 BC. So that is where we end. We'll end at the age of the founder, and then God willing, next week we will look at the teachings. They have a very good teachings. They teach about there's no time. If I have time, I could have finished about. They will do 3 teachings about them, but we'll look at that next week. Let's end here because it's 6, so that the next person can now take over. Please take notes. Next week, we'll start from where we ended. The founder of Jainism. Thank you very much. Whilst is the new the next teacher ready?
Yeah, that's Papa Uku.
Yeah.
How did you say the founder again is?
Mahavari. Maha. M-A-H-A-V-A-R-A. Mahavarya. Is Papa Oku in now?
I think Papa will be joining us any moment. Let me see if I
Okay,
can.
so you know what? So let's go on. Whilst can we go on whilst we wait for him to come?
It's not come yet.
All right, sir. All right, sir.
Papa, please, can I use this opportunity?
So as I said, the Mahavira is regarded as the founder of Jainism, right? The founder of Jainism. Now, the word, I don't know whether you are familiar with the Sanskrit. Now, it's kind of a writing, right? Language of writing, and it's mostly found among the Tibetans and then the Indians, right? In the Sanskrit, the word Jainism comes from the Sanskrit roots, which means conquer or victory, And then Jainas or the Jains, they are the saints or the teachers and the leaders. So these people, they attain salvation, or which we call liberation. They attain liberation of us, nirvana, through conquest. When they conquer, they attain what? Nirvana. That is what they escape nirvana, or they get liberation from nirvana, and then they attain what? Salvation. Good. So he was born in the eastern part of India. His father is Raja. So, and then it is believed that the father was a king. So he was also a priest. He grew up in luxury. But they said that when he was a baby, he had 5 nurses taking care of him. The one that will bath him, the one that will dress him, the one that will play with him, the one that will carry him around. He had 5 nurses taking care of him. And then it is believed that he married so early to a princess, and they had a daughter. So, and he was not like Buddha. He was not content with his priestly life and all the luxury. But out of respect for his parents, he waited till his parents died. Then he renounced the beauty of this world. So please prompt me when Papa Awoku come, then I'll stop, okay? The basic teachings, some basic teachings about them. Now, for them, the universe is believed to be uncreated and eternal. This means among the Jains, there is no speculation about a creator, the beginning or the end. So in its history consists of a long era, each with a period of improvement followed by one of the decline. The present one is seriously declining. Religion will die out to be restored in the next generation. So you see, for them, they don't believe in creation. No. They believe that one generation will die, another generation will form. Life is more of that kind of cycle. One generation come, one generation go. And it's just uncreated. And it is cyclical. That is how they believe. And they have something that they think about the universe. They have Ajiva and Jiva. And that they believe that the universe is grouped into 2 broad categories. The first of this is that of Ajiva, the dead, lifeless matter in the world. The second category is the jiva, living things. This consists of infinite number of living souls, which consists what they may be described as the spiritual as opposed to material realms. So these souls are here in the world, as we know, and it's only because of being involved in what? This matters. So for them, the world is consist of all two things.
Sorry, Papa. Sorry. Now, Rev Papa has joined us, so maybe if you want him to take over.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much. So please remind me next week to start from the basic teachings.
All right, sir.
Then we can move to other way. Okay.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, my brother, Reverend Stephen Azundem, for taking us into world religions. Isn't that amazing? It is so amazing. All right. Thank you. Good. So at this time we'll be going. Can you give me back the host so that I can put the that's School of Ministry. I'm in trouble now. I'm able to log on. Dublin, please, can you click on my name and make me the host, please? I think you are holding the host now. Thank you. Thank you.
Sorry, Papa, how do I do it?
Like you click on my name, you right click on my name.
Yeah.
All right, you see the icon, then make me host. Yes, I'm in trouble. I have to go. I'm trying to see.
Just give me an option to mute or more when I click on your name.
Mute, more, what else? Go to more, please, go to more. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No, oh man, Timin is not the host. Okay, don't worry, I'll do that. I think it's a problem. I'll do that, please. Just give me some few moments. Sorry about that. Burma, you can put it off. Burma, I think you're also co-host. You can put the YouTube off.
I think it's a bit of a challenge here because
Don't worry, I'm coming.
It's not even giving me the option to do it here.
I think Timin is not the host. Timin, you're not the host. Can you try for me?
Okay.
I have given it to you.
Okay.
You have given it to me. Thank you, Timin. Right. Thank you. Yeah, I've seen it. So.